to Meet the Missouri Horse Professional. I'm your host, Jennifer Hurt of JR's Equine Performance and Wellness, and I'm interviewing Missouri horse professionals in your area. Join me in meeting this week's talented Missouri horse professional. Welcome everyone to another episode of Meet the Missouri Horse Professional. I'm your host Jennifer Hurt of JR's Equine Performance and Wellness. And today we are at Boudreau Acres in Boudreau, owned by Joan Boudreau Walker, who unfortunately isn't in this video, but we do have a couple of our boarders. We have Alan Lewis, who not only is a boarder, but he is also a lesson instructor here, as well as a horse trainer. We also have Angel Sturkle, who is also a boarder, and she's also Alan's apprentice. That was a mouthful for me, guys, but I think I did all right. Did I do all right? All right, excellent. So, Alan, I'm really glad that you agreed to speak on Joan's behalf and tell us about her fabulous place.
Glad to do it.
So, why don't you, what does Boudreau Acres offer? Let's start there.
We offer pasture boarding, self-care stalls, training, lessons. Our stalls are 12 by 12. They're fairly have automatic waters. They're newer stalls. The self-care, we're pretty accommodating. Should there be an incident where you can't make it, you're sick, your kid's sick, your husband's sick, then we'll accommodate you and take care of that too.
So the horses are coming first.
The horses will be taken care of irregardless what happens. There's 34 acres here, split into 2 pastures. We have automatic waters in the pastures. We have 3 paddocks and this arena here, which we keep worked up on a regular basis. It's all really low key around here. It's a quiet, relaxing place for me to be, and I think as well as Angel. When you board here, Joan is probably one of the easiest persons I've ever done business with in my life, and I've done a lot of business.
Gotcha.
Some of it good, some of it not so good. She's very accommodating, very caring person. She cares about your horse, and she actually cares about you as a person.
That's great. That's awesome.
And it's just a low key. I've had my own place for years. Back during the real estate craze, when my place I thought was going to bring a substantial amount more than I thought technically it was really worth, I decided it was time to sell since I was approaching becoming a senior citizen.
Gotcha.
So I sold it. And I boarded at another place for a while. At one time, I would have as many as 10, 12, 17 head of horses, either in training or for sale. We also offer some horses for sale here.
Okay.
Not a lot, but we'll always have 2 to 3 horses for sale here. Some will be quarterbred horses, some will be gaited horses. I've got a background in both. In the 90s, I showed a lot of gaited horses. I was third in the world in the trail division with the Missouri Foxtrot and Horse Association.
Oh, nice.
In 93, 94. I trained under a fellow named Clell Osborne, who sadly has passed away now, but he's the one that gave me my start, kind of when nobody else would.
Oh, gotcha.
And that's kind of one of the reasons I've taken on this young lady.
Yes. Well, let's hear
And
about
he was he trained 2 world champion cutting horses back in the 60s.
Oh, gotcha.
He was an elderly man when I went to work for him.
okay.
And he had trained, I don't know, half a dozen regional reining horses. This would all be back in the 60s,
Yeah.
early 70s, before your time, I'm sure.
It was.
But he's who gave me my start.
Oh, okay.
And he also ran a sale. I don't know if you're familiar with the Missouri Horse Auction.
Yes.
At one time, that was his.
Oh, gotcha.
When he passed away, it went to his daughter. I don't know if you're familiar with Melody or not.
I'm not.
But his daughter and her son-in-law run it now. And I worked for this
okay.
man 10 years. We had 35 horses installed and probably that many more in the pasture. So we were either every weekend you were either at a show or at a auction someplace. So there
gotcha.
was no such thing as a day off. You might get off Monday afternoon if everything went well. That was going to be it. But that's kind of my background. We're kind of well-rounded around here. We're not breed specific. If you want to board, we don't allow any stallions
Gotcha.
in the pasture. And basically that's about it. I found it, probably one of the most economical places to do business, whichever type of business you want to do. We do require vaccinations and, of course, a negative cottage.
Sure, sure. So you've already told us that the stalls are 12 by 12s with automatic waters. Let's talk about the arena. What's the size of the outdoor
It's
arena?
76 by 225.
Okay.
It's got a good base in it. And we work it regular. We don't let weeds grow up or get clumpy or rocky. We'll work it up really good at least once every week.
Okay, great.
If water's standing in it, we kind of back away from till it kind of dries up, because you're just going to make soup.
That's right. That's right. Well, go ahead and explain the paddocks. So you got some paddocks here too.
The paddocks, we usually don't rent the paddocks out for the simple reason there's no shed or shelter for shade. What we primarily do with those is maybe the shoers coming.
Oh.
And so we can gather everybody's horse up that wants shod or trimmed or whatever.
Yeah.
And we can put them in those paddocks or tie them in those paddocks.
Oh, gotcha.
And then bring them into the shoer, or he does it outside, whichever he prefers.
Okay, great.
And that's primarily what we use it for. And should you want to get a horse in out of the pasture and need to feed him or give him some kind of medication, and you don't want to use a stall,
yeah,
you can
use
run him in that paddock and give him whatever he needs, and then turn him back out.
Okay, great. So we've talked about the facility. Let's go ahead and talk about the other service, your lessons. Let's go ahead and talk about your lessons.
We give lessons. Angel, my assistant, I gave her lessons for probably 6 weeks. What we primarily do in the lesson aspect of it is we try to teach you how to train your horse. The lesson aspect is not, we don't train your horse for you, we train you.
Which is important.
Now, having said that, if you've got a horse that we may have to get on to and demonstrate what you need to do, we'll demonstrate. If I say, I need you to execute this certain maneuver,
yeah,
and you don't know what I'm talking about,
yeah,
then either Angel or myself are going to demonstrate that to you on your horse. But we're not going to train him, we're just going to demonstrate. Training your horse is a whole other genre. And
sure, sure. But you do some horse training.
we do. We're limited it to 2 to 4, no more than 4,
Sure.
simply because both of us have other obligations.
Yeah.
So we limit outside horses training to 4 head. Lessons, we give lessons on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday.
Oh, gotcha.
4 days a week, and that's the only days we give lessons.
Okay. So, Angel, tell me, what kind of instructor is Alan?
Wonderful. I haven't had many. I just got into horses probably in the last couple of years. My dad let me take lessons when I was like 21, and then my husband and I, we boarded at a couple different places before we came here, and that kind of helped us get started and get into it, and we got our first horses about at the beginning of this year. We bought our first horses.
Oh,
and,
nice.
I ended up giving one of those horses to a friend, but I still have the one that I have, and I've learned a lot coming here from Alan. I've learned more from him. I feel like in one lesson I already knew more than like
Oh,
I'd
really?
ever learned over the time that I had been riding, because I did ride at one place, but they just kind of taught you how to be a passenger and not really to
not
train,
a
or the horses
leader
already
driver.
knew what to do. Yeah, and so it was a lot better learning from Alan, because then I was learning like how to fix problems, how to
nice.
what to do if they misbehave.
Yeah.
And just things like that. It's really been helpful. I think it would be beneficial for anybody to take lessons from Alan, because it's really worth it. I mean, you just learn so much more when you're actually hands-on doing it, and
Yes.
someone's not just leading you around. So
I agree. Well, that is great. It sounds like it's a really good mash, and
It's gonna be.
so obviously he thought enough of you to make you his apprentice. She's being bashful now.
Well, she took lessons. I'll just step in here.
Okay.
She took lessons from me for 6 weeks, 2 months. And I saw if this girl had to really try, and being around horses was something she really, really wanted.
Nice.
And she had a lot of perseverance, which is what you have to have when you're training a horse, whether you're 2 or 22, doesn't make any difference.
Right.
It's all about repetition and perseverance. You got to hang in there till you get it better. You may not get it right or correct or perfect or excellent. You got to hang in there till you get it better.
Yeah.
And she was willing to do that without any complaints. She didn't get mad, she didn't cuss, she didn't cry, she didn't stomp off, she didn't say shut up.
That's important.
And to me, somebody that has some try, if
Yes.
I'm looking for an apprentice,
Yes.
is probably better for me, someone that tries, clean cut, polite, mannerly. Someone like that, to me, is worth more than someone that comes in and is already full of themselves.
Oh, I totally agree. I totally agree.
So that's the biggest reason. This girl's got a lot of try, a lot of dedication, and she loves it. And if you love it enough and you really want it, you'll find a way to make it happen. And that's
right.
no matter what it is in life,
That's
whether it's
right.
a horse, a car, a girlfriend, a house,
right.
whatever. If you want it bad enough, you'll find a way to make it happen.
That is true.
The road may be rocky
That's
till you
right.
get there, but if you want it bad enough, you can do it. Again,
I
I
do
just want to
too.
reiterate that it's a beautiful place to board, whether you've got one horse, or 10 horses, or whether you don't need any lessons. It's not required that you take any lessons when you're here. If I'm here and I'm riding by and you ask me a question, or Angel, what can I do? This horse will stand still. I mean, we don't train reining horses. I did years when I was in my prime, but we don't do that anymore. But if you have a problem with a horse and you're turning him and he won't go to right, he won't rear up and run off to the left, you're certainly welcome to ask either one of us a question. Now, we'll answer questions for free. We won't answer them all day.
Right.
We'll answer one a day.
And in a situation like that, you probably would encourage them
Yes.
just to make
But
it
it's not a
safe.
requirement that you
Yeah.
take lessons, but it's certainly available. And like I said, we always have 2 or 3 horses for sale. If the horse you've got's not working out for you, and I understand that a lot of people buy a horse and he's your forever horse, no matter if he kicks your nose off, you still love him. I understand that. But
Yeah.
in certain cases, he's not going to be a good fit.
Right.
So we do keep 2, 3, 4 around here where we could sell it to you should you decide to upgrade.
Very good, very good. Well, before I wrap this up, there's one other thing I want to touch on is the location. So we are just outside of Springfield, west of Springfield,
Yes,
if I got
ma'am.
my directions right.
You are. You're
And
actually still in Greene County.
we are really still in Greene County. There you guys go. We're still in Greene County, near Springfield, just west of Springfield. It was very convenient. You know, this is the first time I've been here, and I coming off of 44. The roads to get here were pretty easy and nice roads, so I was really impressed with that.
It's easy. The roads are good. Once you've been here, it's easy to find. There's signs up. The biggest thing, whether you're coming from the east or the west, just remember you got to turn at Hood's truck stop.
That right there, you guys. You can eat.
Go to
before
the
coming.
T. Go to the T. Turn left. Keep
There
going
you
till you
go.
see the sign.
Very good. Well, I think I really enjoyed this interview, and it's
I have
great.
to. We
And-
appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, and so you guys, one quick tip I want to give you before we actually do end this video is if you like this content, please like it, share, comment, send it through Messenger to a friend. This is how we get the word out of Missouri horse professionals in this area. If you like this content, somebody else probably would too. And so you would be doing everybody a big favor if you just share this content. You guys, I want to thank Alan, I want to thank Angel, I want to thank Joan for letting us come and see her place, and we will speak to you next time.